All right, all right. Shalom, shalom, Arab Tov, Chabarim, Chabarim. Good evening, good evening. It's Upper Room of Zion Thursday podcast here on the air and Iris.
Yeah, man, now. Fireball. Fireball, the mula do. Fireball.
Here, Upper Room of Zion. Here, one of the theme songs right here, Black Uhuru, Leaving to Zion. Yes, I. Rastafari.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad.
We can rely on the conquering lion. Most light, you're the only one we can rely on. Love the conquering lion. Most light, you're the only one we can rely on.
His thought movements. Exabiel Yamasikon, all praises be unto the Almighty One. His thought movements.
Let it be sanctified. Hey, check out the vibes all flow. How they get the youths to my ground. So much love. Hard grounds, no sound from the suffering. Who collect the pound to keep them bound from the uprising. Hey, hard ground, cold ground from the suffering. Hey, them bounce we about, so we down yet we still striving again. Hard ground, no sound for the suffering. Who collect the pound to keep them bound from the uprising. Hey, hard ground, cold ground for the suffering. Yo, them bounce about, so we down yet we still striving. Hey, then I hope the get a youth gun for them roam on the street every day and night. Check how we trade the as them turn me a telling us a trigger happy ever want strive. Enough about 3, 2 left, pick up free by chance if I keep all your life before the day put down. Enough of them gone, stop all the war and strife. Where are the so-called leaders who pollute and corrupt all the place? Yo, the nowadays bleeders, backdoor dealers who put the youth them to waste. The devil's receivers are always the teachers, step on the things them create. Whoa, strife now, me sister that Babylon a fake. Hard ground, cold ground, for the suffering. Who collect the pound to keep them bound from the uprising. You ain't hard ground, cold ground, for the suffering. Now them bounce we about, so we down yet we keep striving again. Hard grounds, cold ground, for the suffering. Who collect the pound to keep them bound from the uprising. Hey, hard ground, cold ground, for the suffering. Yo, the bounce us about, till they get a you keep striving. Their feelings manifest what is so real. Hoping not for the innocent, but who shall we solely feel? I can see outpouring what it's not concealed. Crying for equal rights and justice, not fake or bill. I know they don't know where they're going. Long before no Rastafari, them see and know everything. Hey, they go confused within this modern system. You've received the price. Was it rewarding? Hard ground, cold ground for the suffering. Who collect the pound to keep them bound from the uprising? Hey, hard ground, cold ground for the suffering. Hey, the bounce us about till they get a you keep striving. Hey, how many arm around with mother and child yet for the missing? Man stand up and play your role, me have to do my own, can't do it for him. Have you ever heard the cries of boys and girls every time when hungry I ring? Yes, fool mama, everyone know why she alone have to do the juggling. Yes, some guys organize and I make beer nice and not one thing them a bring. Mama well qualified education, all right, fear away, not a job can swing. When she touch one verse and look on the face, stress keep on coming. Is a heavy piece of weight if you push all the gate like the struggling just begin. Hard ground, cold ground, but it's suffering.
When I pray
a counterfeit black man who betrays homeland through the metal called money. And it is very funny. I philosophy then inspired I and I to tread Mount Zion way. Oh, yeah, yeah. If tomorrow I was leaving to Zion, then I wouldn't stay a minute more. Cause these ways of life I am living.
Oh yes, me I feel it. The whole of we I feel it. Well, we I feel it. Oh, we I feel it. Oh, we I feel it. Yes, we I feel it. Hey, all who now feel the pinch, I do the pinching. Teacher bring them checks say that me smiling. All who now feel the pinch, I do the pinching. Then me feeling and them think we smiling. Hey, when me hear them apart from the top to the middle, and me hear the voice of the pole. If you play no tickle, not a thing now, tickle, tell me can we bear this anymore? Simple food, I tell me can't buy again, me no know, tell me what the score. It's worse than AIDS, cause I hears me a try to find the formula on the cure. Since new state with a lot migrate, all know it's still the pantour. Out the airport, me no see it coming, and me don't cover half every door. Every day the pressure higher, and me try find a way, and me look till me eye them sore. When me think all is well, and me dip on the roof, me still lie down and flow. So all who now feel the pinch, and do the pinching. Teacher bring them checks, say that me smiling. All who now feel the pinch, and do the pinching. Then me feeling and them think me smiling. All who now feel the pinch, and do the pinching. Teacher bring them checks, say that me smiling. All who now feel the pinch, and do the pinching. Then me feeling and them think me smiling. When me malice all me bed fi touch me pill and me decline. A long time now, little sleep no touch me eye. Me work me get me pay yet still me can't find a dime. Cool bum get me skin no she said this a sign. No pen to bite no finger, no voice to call no name. Economical disaster hit me like a train. Better than lose no one to hear my complaint. Me know someone a pinch me cause me still feel the pain. And all who now feel the pinch and do the pinching. Teacher grin them checks say that me smiling. All who now feel the pinch and do the pinching. Pain me feeling and them think me smiling. All who now feel the pinch and do the pinching. Teacher grin them checks say that me smiling. All who now feel the pinch and do the pinching. Pain me feeling and them think me smiling. Hey, and me want know who and what me coulda do make so much people them pinch. Everything stands still, me just climb the hill and still not move an inch. Oh, stress of the rope all when me a choke at the more and me flesh them pinch. Oh, things are shine and get the things fine and I know that me get sound rich. Oh, when me a feel a ball out the creed them still not give me no ease. Sing get tear, no one no clear and the more the pinching increase. Oh, me rock like a buckle and me struggle and me tackle them still not give me no relief. Like bees that sting, I swell up me skin and me want the pinching to see. So all who now feel the pinch and do the pinching. Teacher bring them checks and that me smiling. All who now feel the pinch and do the pinching. Then me feeling and them think me smiling. All who now feel the pinch and do the pinching. Teacher bring them checks and that me smiling.
Isot movements.
Yes, 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 yes. Upper Room of Zion, right there, there. Leaving to Zion, dubwise, right there. Here on the podcast, as you see right here. Let's see if we can bring this up. Okay, there we have the evening psalms. The evening psalms, that order right there goes back to the temple time of Jerusalem. Also witnessed and testified in the true church and the professing church. This is a chart here that we reprinted from an ancient Ethiopian chart of Psalms readings. So we find that the evening Psalms, same Psalms Judaically, Hebraically, that are referred to as the temple chants, what was chanted in the temple of Jerusalem, up to 70 AD, and also by faithful Yehudim, and also among the Royal Order of Ethiopian Hebrews. So right here, as you can see for Thursday, the 5th day of the Shabuah right here, Hebraically by the number of the days, here we have Psalm 81. Evening Psalm, here, Psalm 81. Yes, I rise up to chant. Yes, I Rastafari.
Psalm 81.
מזמור פ"א למנצח על הגיתית לאסף.
Sing aloud unto God our strength.
עוזנו, הרנינו לאלוהים עוזנו.
Make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob.
לאלוהי יעקב, הריעו לאלוהי יעקב.
Take a psalm, and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel, and a law of the God of Jacob. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. I removed his shoulder from the burden. His hands were delivered from the pots. Thou calledst in trouble, and I delivered thee. I answered thee in the secret place of thunder. I proved thee at the waters of Meribah. Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee. O Israel, if thou wilt hearken unto me. There shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange God. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. So I gave them up unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. I should soon have subdued their enemies, and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of the Lord should have submitted themselves unto him. Their time should have endured forever. He should have fed them also with the finest of the wheat. With honey out of the rock should I have satisfied.
And here, the Hebrew chant right here. Hitorer Yisrael. Yes, here. This psalm here, chanted word by word, verse by verse in the Hebrew. Check this.
It is the 5th day of the week, and we do have a Tehillim that is recited in the 5th day of the week, found in chapter 81. And again, it will be recited also in Hebrew. Let's begin. Lamnazecha al-Hagetit la-Asaf haninu l'Elohim uze haru l'Elohe Yaakov Su Zimra Ujnetov Kino Naim Evnavel Tiku Vachoresh Shofar Bakese Leyom Chage Ki Choch La Yisrael Hu Mishpot Lelohe Yaakov Edut Bihosef Sam Bazid Alriet Mizraim Safat Lo Yadati Eshma Hasiroti Misavel Shikim Kape Midud Ta'avona Batzara Karata Va'achalze In Basita Ra'am Evchan Alme Amriva Sela Shema Ame Ve'eda Ba ישראל, אם תשמלה, לא יהיה ואל זר ולא תשתחווה לאל נכר. אנוכי יהוה אלוהי המעל מארץ מצרים החפה ועמלה. ולא שמע עמי לקולה וישראל לא אבלה. ואשרכה בשרירות לבה יקום במועזותי. לו עמי שומע לי ישראל בדרכי יחלקו. כמעט אוהבי אקניה ועל זורע אשיב ידי. מזנה יהבה יכחשו לו והא איתה לעולם. ויאכילה מחלב חיטה ומזור דבש אזבעה.
מזמור פ"ב, מזמור לאסף. אלוהים ניצב בעדת אל, בקרב אלוהים ישפוט. עד מתי תשפטו עוול, ופני רשעים תישאו סלע. שפטו דל ויתום, עני ורש הצדיקו. פלטו דל ואביון, מיד רשעים הצילו. לא ידעו ולא יבינו, בחשיכה יתהלכו, ימותו כל מוסדי ארץ. אני אמרתי אלוהים אתם, ובני עליון כולכם. אכן כאדם תמותון, וכאחד השרים תיפולו. קומה אלוהים, שפטה הארץ, כי אתה תנחל בכל הגויים.
Up there up there up there.
Yes. Slicha li. Yes, forgive me right there. That was actually Psalm 82. Here's Psalm 81, Thursday evening song.
מזמור פ"א למנצח על הגיתית לאסף. הרנינו לאלוהים עוזנו, הריעו לאלוהי יעקב. שאו זמרה ותנו תוף, כינור נעים עם נבל. תקעו בחודש שופר, בכסה ליום חגנו. כי חוק לישראל הוא, משפט לאלוהי יעקב. עדות בהוסף שמו, בצאתו על ארץ מצרים, שפת לא ידעתי אשמע. הסירותי מסבל שכמו, כפיו מדוד תעבורנה. בצרה קראת ואכל לצקה, אענך בסתר רעם, אבחונך על מי מריבה סלע. שמע עמי ואעידה בך, ישראל אם תשמע לי, לא יהיה בך אל זר, ולא תשתחווה לאל נכר. אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך, המעלך מארץ מצרים, הרחב פיך ואמלאהו. ולא שמע עמי לקולי, וישראל לא אבה לי. ואשלחהו לשרירות ליבם, ילכו במועצותיהם. לו עמי שומע לי, ישראל בדרכי יהלכו, כמעט אויביהם אכניע, ועל צריהם אשיב ידי. משנאי אדוני יכחשו לו, ויהי עיתם לעולם. ויאכילהו מחלב חיטה, ומצור דבש אשביעך.
Yes, the evening psalm right there, right here, Psalm 81 for the 5th day. That's called Thursday. La Menatziach al Hagitit Le Asaf, chief musician upon the Get teeth, right here, the Get teeth. Some say a wine press, the Get teeth. Some assume a musical instrument. It's found in other Psalms, Psalm 8, Psalm 81, the evening psalm here for the 5th day of the Shabuah, Psalm 84 as well. They say a song title used for the Feast of Booths. The Feast of Booths is called Sukkot. Feast of Booths or huts. Sukkot, the sukkahs, right there. Some think it's perhaps a harp or a melody. But here, the evening psalm, love this first verse here. Hari'u, they say sing aloud. Key emphasis on the word aloud. Hari'u. Let's go right here. Actually, they do something very strange here. Okay. Harninu. Here we go. Harninu lelohim uzenu. So here's the part that we're reading for those looking at the screen right here. Bring that up right here. There we go right there. Right? Reading from right to left. Harninu le'elohim uzenu. So the Rinan, sing aloud. Ranan, sing aloud. Says to overcome as the verb, to be overcome. the secondary. So we have something we call the Hebrew two truths. Sometimes a word has like two sides to it. Sometimes the two sides to it might seem, depends on one's understanding at the time or general understanding, the two sides might seem even in conflict, right? But that's not really the case right there. So in one sense, to Ranan here in Mizmor Pe Aleph is to overcome, right? The Heat Poel sense to be overcome. But the secondary sense to cry out, to shout for joy, to give a ringing cry. Here it breaks it down a little bit more, to give a ringing cry in joy. It can be a cry in joy. Yeah. Or exaltation, or even in distress. A cry aloud, as in a summons, like in calling somebody, right? The exhortation of chokmah, of wisdom, right? The Hebrew Sophia, of chokmah, of wisdom, of tibeb, to give a ringing cry. So it breaks it down into different parts of speech right there. A stridulous sound, a creak. They said that is to shout. The key words here in the Strongs is the italicized words, like creak. Then it gives a kind of a context, or like to emit a stridulous sound, right? That is to shout. Usually for joy. Usually for joy. So here we have this particular verse. It's the first verse right here. Evening Psalm, Psalm 81. Harninu le Elohim, to Elohim, le Elohim. Harninu. It's a command like the ninu, to you all. So all of y'all to Ranan, to cry, to shout out for joy, like that shout for joy. Harninu lelohim uzenu. This word right here, uzenu, right? Uzenu. This comes from the word our strength, oz, the oz, right? Oz. It's an ein, so it's a harder A sound than the aleph. Aleph is like a soft A sound. So sometimes there are what some linguists might call masculine and feminine sounds. So some sounds are harder sounds, some sounds are softer sounds. So there's the aleph A, that's a basic A, aleph. And then there's the ein, right? This has the ein, right? So it's the oz, awaz, oz. It means might, strength. Interesting. They say the Wizard of Oz, right? Oz, right? Might, strength. And it breaks it down here based on the context, even of scripture. We find this word in the sense of material or physical, physical strength, or it can also be personal, right? Or social or political strength. It's almost like what sometimes one's referred to within the politics and politrics of the West as capital. Like they say, one's political capital, right? Or one might have influence, right? Oz, strength, right? Uzenu, our strength. As it says right here, strength in various applications. Strength in the sense of force, strength in the sense of like security, strength in the sense of majesty, or even strength in the sense of praise. So here, this opening verse here, evening psalm right here. Harninu lelohim uzenu. Shout out, y'all, in a ringing shout of joy, exultation, lelohim, to the Creator, to the Judge, to the Almighty Power, lelohim uzenu. Elohim, our strength, our might, right? Hari'u. This word right here, hari'u. Lelohe, le Elohe, Yaakov, le Elohe, Yaakov, lelohe Yaakov, to the Elohim of Jacob, to the God of Jacob. So then we have this word here, make a joyful noise, a ru'ah. Mind you, when you hear once one says ura, they say ura. So here we have the ru'ah, to shout, to raise a sound, to cry out, to give a blast. In the He-Fil sense, it's like to shout a war cry. Ura, right? Ru'ah, ru'ah, hari'u, hari'u, right? An alarm of battle, to sound a signal for war or march. So here's what we also have the sense in the Torah with the trumpets, the shofar, of course, the ram's horn, right? And the chatzorot, the shetei chatzorot, and the two like silver kesef, the two silver trumpets as well, and the different signals, different tones, different signals, and what they signify. To shout in triumph. So the sense of the ruah, ruah, ura, hari'u, 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 to shout in triumph, to shout in applause, to shout. It could be religiously or in a spiritual sense, with a religious impulse, or it can also be to cry out in distress. So some of the context is right here, right? But I find that Strong's here brings out the ru'ah, ru'ah, ru'ah in hari'u, hari'u. It brings it out very interesting, a primitive root to mar, especially by breaking. So the sound, right? The sound, the sense of the sound. So we have the fifth of the seven Mo'edei Yahweh, right? Of the feast of Mo'edim, and that is the Yom HaTeruah. Yom HaTeruah, also referred to as in the later times as Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, Rosh Hashanah. But that corresponds to the fifth of the seven feasts, the Mo'edei Yahweh, the feast appointments of Jehovah Eloheinu, and that is the day, it's called the Day of Trumpets, the Day of Trumpets, or the Day of the Teruah. So when we say Teruah, it also comes from that root sense, the ruah. Figuratively, here it says to split the ears with sound, that is to shout for alarm or joy, So that's how this psalm right here, that is said to be connected with the Feast of Trumpets, with the latter part of the holy season, right? Mainly the third of the 3 times in the year. So we have the 7 feasts that occur in 3 times of the year, beginning with Pesach, Passover, days of the Matzot, unleavened bread. Then we have the Bikurim, first fruits. Then we count the 7 Shabbats complete to Shavuot, 2 weeks, Shavuot, to weeks, called Pentecost, because the 50th day, 7 times 7 on the morrow after, so 49 days plus 1, 50th day, or harvest. And then from here we're in the season between the harvest time and what's called the fall festivals, or the third of the 3 times, beginning off with the Yom Teruah. So we're making a point right here linguistically and also to the theme of this particular psalm, Psalm 81, and also its inclusion as the 5th day evening psalm. And according to the tradition, this links with the psalms that were chanted by the Levite choir, the choristers within the temple of Jerusalem up to 70 AD, right? And even today, these are considered to be the evening psalms. And of a particular interest is finding these very same evening psalms within the Royal Order of the Ethiopian Hebrews and in the True Church, professing Orthodox Tewahedo Church, also finding these particular evening psalms. And therefore, I also have adopted these evening psalms in here just for the 5th day again. Laminat Tzeyach al Hagitit le'asaf harninu le'Elohim ozenu hari'u le'Elohei Yaakov. Right here, evening psalm. Evening song.
Psalm 81.
מזמור פ"א למנצח על הגיתית לאסף.
Sing aloud unto God our strength.
עוזנו, הרנינו לאלוהים עוזנו.
Make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob.
לאלוהי יעקב, הריעו לאלוהי יעקב.
There we go. There we go. Yes. So Psalm 81 Mizmor Pei Aleph. Pei Aleph is themed a festival meditation, a festival meditation, often connected with the harvest festival and with tabernacles coming forward in the seventh moon, in the seventh month. So here, this brings us right here, this Torah reading and feeding. Let's bring this out right here. Torah reading and feeding for this 40th, right? Sabbatical study for this Shabbat strong. And here we have Balak. I'd like to touch right here on Balak, here pointing to the page, our page right here, LOJS, right? LOJS.org, right here, this week's Torah reading. Here we're at the 40th reading for Balak. I'd like to touch a little bit more on Balak right here, as we build here in the season, recognizing the reason for the season. So what moon are we in? What month are we in right here? Right? In the fourth, moving to the fifth month. That means we have like roughly a month, a month and a half or so. Right here. But Balak, as it connects with the reason for the season, also those who are observing the 3 weeks of sorrow, in the morning for the first and the second temple, the loss of the first and second temple, and the subsequent captivities, as well as also another theme here in this season, pointing to the weeks of sorrow. So this is also how ones and ones can kind of like keep a idea of the scheduling, because according to the Yehudi tradition, right, Moshe, he was said to have shattered the tablets, right? Moses shattered the tablets on the 17th day of the fourth month. So this is roughly the period of time that we are in right here, even in its connection with Balak. Let's bring this up right here. This is some of the content here we have on the page, plus the free, TPV right here, the Bamidbar. Here we're in the fourth book of Moses, so some of the commentaries, the reasonings, and here, as we brought out right here, here's it in the Royal Amharic. The Hebrew first, Balak right there in the red letters, and over here, the Royal Amharic, it's the name of a personal person, right? the king of Moab, and the narrative there. But here in the 3 weeks of sorrow, according to Yehudi tribe, Moshe, he shattered the tablets. Remember when Moses came down in Exodus and all that uckery was going on, the molten calf, the Egel Masecha, right? It was on the 17th day of the 4th month, after he came down from Har Sinai, and he found the people worshiping, the works of their own hands, the Egel Masecha, the molten calf called falsely the golden calf. Now today, this that tragic date that particular date is commemorated as a fast day, right? A fast day. I noticed let's see, I came across it in the scripts. Let's see if we can bring this out right here, for ones and ones on the screen, right? The fast of I think it's called the fast of the fifth month. Let's bring this right here. The fast of the 5th month. Let's change this over right here so we can search this out. Some keywords right here. The fast, right? The fast of let's put 4th right here. The fast of the 4th, right? The fast of there we go right there, Zechariah. So ones and ones looking at the screen can see the Zechariah chapter 8, verse 19. Thus saith Yahweh Sabaoth, Jehovah of Sabaoth of armies of hosts, the fast of the 4th. And you see it has the 4th, and then month is italicized, and the fast of the 5th, and the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th shall be to the Bayit, the house of Yehuda, the house of Judah. It says joy and gladness and cheerful feast. Therefore, love the truth and peace. So here we see in the scripture where it makes mention of the fast of the 4th month. All right, but this is coming through the prophet Zechariah the prophet. So often the prophets many times are seeking to correct or point out or highlight, that which is wrong and directing the people to that which is right. But this is often considered in traditional Judaism amongst many Torah observant High Yehudi as this fast, what they call the fast of Tammuz, right? The fast of Tammuz. Now, the name Tammuz is the Babylonian name for the 4th month, right? The fast of Tammuz being the Babylonian name for the 4th month, the 3 weeks of sorrow. Now, historically, summertime has been, from a Hebrew, Judaic, and historical perspective, has been a time of struggle and bitter woe for the Beit Yehuda, for the house of Judah, the Judahite people. Indeed, amid the warm and sunshine of the season, many Torah observant Yehudim, they withdraw to a place of remembrance, sad remembrance and contemplation. Thus, the theme in this season among many, the 3 weeks of sorrow, right? 3 weeks of sorrow, right? Recalling the breach, remembering historically what happened concerning the breach of the walls of Jerusalem, the fall of the Haykal, the temple, and the long exile of the Judahite, the Yehudi people. As you can see right here, notice it says in Zechariah 8 and 19, it says, shall be to the house of Yehuda. It didn't say to the house, the Beit Yisrael, because after the 10 tribes, there was just the Judeans, the Judahites, right? So the middle of the 4th month, known as the month of, later to be known as the month of Tammuz, the 4th month, Torah-wise, in particular, just after what's called the summer solstice, right? The summer solstice is considered to be an ominous time, right? An ominous time, right? Since it's associated with various calamities and various tragedies that have happened over the centuries. In the Yehudi tribe, Moshe, as we mentioned, he smashed the tablets on the 17th day of the 4th month, that was later called, after the Babylonian captivity, the month of Tammuz. After he came down from Har Sinai and found the people worshiping the Egel Masecha, the molten calf, the works of their hands. Now that tragedy, right, was seen as to be prophetic, since it was on the same date that the walls of Jerusalem, were smashed by the invading armies of Nebuchadnezzar, right? Nebuchadnezzar. We have this in 2 Kings. Check out 2 Kings 25, 2 Kings chapter 25, verses 2 to 7, 2 Kings chapter 25, verses 2 to 7. What do we have there? We have, it says, so the city, reading from the English ESV, English Standard Version. So the city was besieged till the 17th year of King Zedekiah, on the 9th day of the 4th month. Get that right there? It tells us the 9th day of the 4th month. The famine was so severe. So there was a famine, right, in the promised land. Can there be famine in the promised land? Why everybody gets so surprised when there's a famine in Ethiopia? Right? It says on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine was so severe that the city that there was no food for the people of the land. Then a breach was made in the city, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, by the king's garden, and the Chaldeans were around the city. And they went in the direction of the Araba, where the Arabs are at. That's where Arab come from, the Araba, right? The Araba. Let me see if I could bring this up right here. Maybe it has that key word. Let me kind of show this right here. We're reading from one version, but most ones might have the KJV. So let's see if we can bring the KJV up right here. Right? Okay, it doesn't have the Araba here. Right? The Araba here. Let me just look at Chaldeans. Let me look up Chaldeans right here. Oh, you know what? Let me pray to I. I think I figured this out. I figured this out. Give me one moment. Yeah, I figured this out, how I can go there directly. Excuse I. Let's see, Second Kings here, 25, chapter 25. You're seeing that right there. Second Kings, chapter 25. Chapter 25. Let's go to KJV, right? KJV. We'll keep should we keep the Strong's words on there? Well, let's just go out it right now and then we'll pick up. So it says, and it came to pass, here, the King James Version, 2 Kings chapter 25, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th of the month, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it. And they built forts against her round about. And the city was besieged to the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldees, the Kasdim, were against the city round about, and the king went the way toward the plain. And the army of the Kasdim, the Chaldeans, pursued after the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. All right, so right here, two more verses. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. Let's check out the note right there. Gave judgment. They spake judgment with him. From the Hebrew. Verse 7 here. And they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters of brass, and carried him to Babylon. All right. So they put out his eyes. They made him blind right there. Now in verse 4? There was something in verse 4. Was it verse 4? Right. Verse 4, where it said, pursue the king. He went in direction of the Araba. It says right there, he went in direction towards the plain. You see what it says, towards the plain right there? Let's bring this up right here, towards the plain. Right, towards the plain. What's the word for plain? There we go. Araba. That's like the desert. The Araba, the desert. That's like the desert. You know, they say the desert. Like we have the Midbar. The Midbar is a wilderness, which means may have spots that are kind of desertly like, but can also have spots that are vegetated, right? It's a wilderness, like a wilderness, right? But the desert is the desert, and the desert is the the Araba right here. So it says in the sense of sterility, the desert, right? The desert, right? That's where the whole Arab connection comes from. Not so much from Ishmael. That's like pseudonymous. That's like kind of pseudo right there. But anyway, to touch on more of that right there, just to put this into a little bit of perspective, the time, the season, that we're in right here. So the time, the season. So the tragedy was seen as prophetic because it linked with the same day, right? So the event that led to destruction of the temple and the exile of the people 3 weeks later, right? And 3 weeks later will lead to what's known as the ninth of the fifth month, or nowadays the ninth of Ab, or also called the Tisha B'Av. The Tisha B'Av. Now Tisha B'Av is the ninth of the fifth month. The ninth of the fifth month. Let's go back to those fasts, right? Those fasts, the fourth fast right there. Back to the fast right here. So here we have Zechariah, right? So today, the 17th of the fourth month is commemorated as a fast day, and therefore it's what you see right here, even in Zechariah, where Zechariah is speaking on this right here. Now, of course, there's a fuller context, because what we see is a kind of a difference. It's a fast, yes, but Yahweh Sabaoth, Jehovah of hosts of armies, is saying to the prophet Zechariah that the fast of the fourth month and the fast of the fifth and the fast of the seventh and the fast of the 10th shall be to the house of Yehuda, shall be to High Yehudim, the Judeans, the Judahites, we say the Jews, euphemistically speaking, shall be to the Yehudim, right? Shall be what? Shall be joy and gladness and cheerful feast. Right. So is it a time for us to sorrow or not to sorrow? So traditionally, many would sorrow because of recalling the incidences that had happened previously, marking the beginning of the 3-week period of the mourning. Right. So this is often called the 3-week period of mourning for the loss of Zion, or Sion, for the lost vision of Zion. Right. So now there's much more that goes into this right here that we'd like to share, because just looking at what's in this season. So as we're moving from, now we're like in the fourth month, right, to the fifth month. Then when the 6th month begin, it's a time of like Teshuvah. Teshuvah is like a month-long preparation for the holy season of booths, of huts, of gathering, of Sukkot, of tabernacles, the end of the year. Also looking forward to the Yom HaKippurim, one of the holiest times the season. It actually fulfills the Yehudi, the church in the wilderness, that sense, so the holy year is fulfilled in this time. This is why Rosh Hashanah, right, thematically is like a new year, right? In other words, we come out of the holy year with the 7 of the 7 feasts, and now we have the 3 final feasts coming forward in the 7th moon, in the 7th month, right? So there's some Torah readings and feedings, as well, that we'll touch on. We'd like to touch on right there. Just a couple of basic notes concerning the 3 weeks of sorrow, Tisha B'Av, how this all connects, even with the readings, even with the readings and feedings, a little bit more right there. But here, we have a psalm, today's daily psalm. Let's bring this out right here. We have a psalm, today's daily psalm. Let's see right here. As you can see, this is the chart of the psalm. You see the July, right? July. So it's the 18th. So you can see Psalm 127 right there. Psalm 127, today's daily psalm, according to royal order, right
Psalm
here.
127.
מזמור קכ"ז, שיר המעלות לשלמה, 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 לשלמה.
Except the Lord build the house, the house.
Im Adonai lo yivne vayit, 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 vayit.
They labor in vain that build it, that build it, that build it.
Shav amelu vonav bo, 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 bo.
Except the Lord keep the city, the city, the city, the city.
Im Adonai lo yishmor ir, 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 ir.
The watchman waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh.
Shav shakad shomer, the shomer, the shomer, the shomer, the shomer.
The watchman waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh. Psalm 127. Except the Lord build the Lord build the house, build the house, build the house, build the house. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman, but in 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 watchman. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh, but in waketh. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, the bread of sorrows, the bread of sorrows. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep, sleep. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, shall not be ashamed, shall speak with the enemies, with the enemies in the gate, 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 in the gate.
Yes, so Psalm 127 also here in the season, even the daily Psalms in the season, they also reflect the reason for the season and are intimately connected to Torah reading and feedings. So it's like all works kind of together. So here, Psalm 127, themed Elohim's help essential. Elohim's help essential. So let's just go over this psalm right here and also touch on some of this Torah reading and feeding. Who is Balak? Who is Balak? Who is Balaam? Right? Who is Balak? Who is Balaam? So right here, Psalm 127. A little overview of Psalm 127. Let's see if we can bring this up right here. Psalm 127. Give me one moment, brothers and sisters. Trying out this new technology right here. All right, build the house. So this is a time of weeping for the destruction of the house, right, or the temple of Jerusalem. Kind of interesting how that goes right there. You know, unless Jehovah build the house, right? It's like vanity, you know. So he has to be in that. If he's not in that, then it's vain. Right, here we go, right here. Here we go. We got this right here. Let's bring this up on the screen. Okay, so today's Psalm 127. Let's see what K and D brings out right here. Summary: everything depends upon the baraka of Elohim. Everything depends on the blessing of Elohim. So right here, so subscribe, Li Shlomo. It's subscribe right here. For or of Solomon, Li Shlomo. Here, today's daily psalm. So God's help, Yahweh's help, essential. So it's a generally accepted view that in this psalm, Mizmor Kof, Kaf, Zain, Psalm 127, Kof, Kaf, Zain, Psalm CXXVII, that it consists, some think it consists of two independent fragments, but a connection of thought is not far to seek. So there's a generally accepted view that the Psalm 127, it consists of two, some see it as two independent fragments, but others will say there's a connection of thought that's not far to seek. Although it's teaching, the teaching that we have in Psalm 127, Mizmor Kof, Kaf, Zain, is general. Enough point is added if it mirrors the conditions in the age of Nehemiah or Nehemiah. It was a period of reconstruction. Houses were being built, measures taken for guarding the cities, much labor was being expended in various directions. But with all that was going on, human planning and effort need to be supplemented by Yahweh's barakah, by Jehovah's blessing, his empowerment to prosper, if they were to endure, if all of that was to really stand and be like sustainable. In addition to these tasks of rebuilding, the country had to have a much larger population if the future was to be assured. In this respect too, in this way too, Yahweh's his favor, Ratzon, his favor was indispensable, since offspring is a gift from him. So this is one of the contexts right here. Reading from over here, don't have this, available to show on the screen right here. But what we do have on the screen is one particular summary that says that everything depends on the baraka of Yahweh, right? So we have two main aspects, right? A general teaching here, right? Often one says that this might mirror the age of Nehemiah. Here it's kind of interesting right here, because here they say in the notes right here, the inscribed Li Shlomo, as you heard in the Hebrew, Li Shlomo, a song of degrees, a song of ascents of Solomon, Li Shlomo, of Shlomo, of Solomon, Shlomo. Here is, some say, only added to this song of degrees because it was found in Psalm 127, where it says verse 2, not only an allusion, that this is alluding to the name of Jedidah. So we get to find out that Shlomo, Solomon had a name, right? Or a name that, according to the script, was given to him through the prophet Nathan, but from Yahweh to the prophet Nathan for him, and that was Jedidah, Yedidiah. So Shlomo has another name, Yedidiah or Jedidah, that Shlomo received from Natan or from Nathan. So here in 2 Samuel, 2 Shemuel, 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 25, it says, and he sent by the hand of Natan ha-Nabi, the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Yedidiah, right? Yedidiah, Jedidah, right? Which means the beloved of Jehovah. This is the name given to Solomon, to Shlomo, through Natan ha-Nabi, through Nathan the prophet, right here. Beloved of Yah, beloved of Jah, right? Based on Yedid. Here's what we have, the Wadada, right? So in Hebrew, right, Waded for love, right? Or you're dead for love, or you're deed in that sense. And then we have, getting to the root right here, the Dod sense, Dawad sense, Wadada, Dawad, right? So just interesting how all that connects Afro-Shemitically there. But we have Yedid to say one beloved, lovely one loved or beloved, the sense of loved, beloved, one who's loved, the beloved of Yah, Yedidi Yah. So it says because of Yahweh, right? Because of Jehovah, the beloved of the Lord, the beloved of Yah, right? So that was Solomon's name. But also in his being endowed with wisdom, right? With Chokmah, with Osher, right? And riches in the dream at Gibeon. Remember, there was the dream at Gibeon, right? In 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 5, in Gibeon, Jehovah appeared to Shlomo, to Solomon, how? In a dream. right? In a cholem, right? Chalom, in a dream by night. And Elohim said, ask what I shall give thee. It says, ask shall be given, seek, right? You shall find, knock, the door shall be open. Ask, A-S-K, ask, seek, knock. Here he says, ask what I shall give thee, right? And to these is still to be added the proverb-like form of the psalm. So even the construction of the psalm, right, is in the form of like a proverb, right? The proverbs, the mashal, mishle, mishalim, right? Proverb like form of the psalm. For like the proverb song, the extended form of the mashal, the proverbs, it consists of a double string of proverbs, the expression of which reminds one of the many ways of the book of Proverbs, right? Right, Atzavim. So it even points out certain key words right there. They're getting into a little more of a detailed study, comparing, for example, let's go over here, comparing, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, so he giveth his beloved. Right? See, that's the link with the Shlomo right there. He giveth his Yedid. So some say that at least Shlomo was added because of the connection of the name that was given to Solomon, Yedidia, right? The beloved. And also Solomon, he built the house, right? He built the first temple. So we see this verse here, then compared with Proverbs 5 and 10. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth, and thy labors be in the house of a stranger. Making a comparison right there. And also this right here, Proverbs 23 and 30, that they tarry long at the wine, they that go to seek mixed wine, right? So here we kind of like get to see some comparisons and get into a little more details right there. Always like to kind of like glance at what it says over here. For example, this one, Theodoret, had observed, one of the early Christian and Yehudi scholars had observed on the natural assumption that Psalm 127 verse 1 points to the building of the temple. Right? So a song of degrees for Solomon, except Yahweh build the house, they labor in vain that build it, except Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waketh in vain. Right? Of Solomon here, and that are the builders of it in it, the Hebrew sense. So that right there, based on the opening verse, some of the scholars and some point to the building of the temple. How much better the psalm suits the time of Zerubbabel and Yehoshua and Joshua, Zerubbabel. We also have that in Zechariah. Just a point to Zechariah, the prophet Zechariah points to this period of time as well. When the building of the temple, the Haykal, was imperiled by the hostile neighboring peoples, and in connection with the relatively small number of those who had returned out of the exile, a numerous family, and especially many sons, must have seemed to be a doubly and threefoldly precious baraka, may Elohim, from God, from Elohim. So here you can see it's reflecting the same thought right here, that it was during that time of reconstruction after the Babylonian exile, which this season, the reason for the season kind of reflects on that right here as well, right? When the building and the rebuilding, reconstruction of the temple was in peril. This is pointing to the same time as Nehemiah or Nehemiah, aka, Ezra and Nehemiah time. Because even though the Babylonian exile had ended, there was only a few who had repatriated, to put it in language that hopefully I can better understand. Only a few had actually repatriated, although like the gates were open. They were no longer in a captive situation, right? They were even given incentive from Koresh, Cyrus, in the time of Darius, and later on in Cyrus' time to return. Only a few had actually returned, right? And therefore, in order to really restore that Yehudi, the Judaic national liberty to, to Judah land, the house of Judah we're speaking about, they needed also to have a population. They needed especially more children, especially sons, and in particular sons, in order to defend from the hostile neighboring people, right? The other peoples. So right here, today's daily psalm, Psalm 127. Should we ride up? We should ride up right here. Today's daily psalm, the 127th psalm. So with Nehemiah as well, Ezra and Nehemiah also are the books that record what occurred during the time after the Babylonian exile. So to understand the scripts, understand the Bible in context with the times, what occurred in those times, because it's important evidence. And then to see how the Psalms, and the Proverbs, but especially the Psalms also give reflection on that. And then also how these Psalms arise in certain seasons and certain times also show that, the order, when we say the order, all things be done, decently and in order. There's an order to what might just seem like a bunch of random information. So here of Solomon, right here of Solomon. Let's pick up with this psalm right here. We're going to do a little dubwise and then pick up with today's daily psalm after this right here. Psalm 127. Mizmor Kaf Kaf Zayin. Rastafari.
Psalm 127.
מזמור קכ"ז, שיר המעלות לשלמה.
Except the Lord build the house.
אם אדוני לא יבנה בית.
They labor in vain that build it.
שב עמלו בוניו בו.
Except the Lord keep the city.
אם אדוני לא ישמור עיר.
The watchman waketh, but in vain.
שב שקד שומר.
The watchman waketh, but in vain. Psalm 127. Except the Lord build the house. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman, but a watchman. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, speak with the enemies, in the gate.
So here, today's daily psalm, Mizmor Of Kaf Zain. Psalm 127, Mizmor Of Kaf Zain. Psalm CXXVII. Yahweh's help, essential. Everything depends on the baraka of Yahweh. So here, today's daily psalm right here. Gonna get into today's daily psalm. Here we have the Hebrew right here. Let's go through this right here. Okay, so here we have verses 1 to 2. So, overview of today's daily psalm from low degrees to high degrees from the KJV. Here we have only 5 verses. Today's daily psalm. First 1 and 2 verses. First 2 verses. Man's work is futile, is vain, without Yahweh Eloheinu, without Jehovah. Verses 1 to 2, opening 2 verses. Verses 3 to 5, second part, the baraka, the blessing, the empowerment to prosper of children, the blessing of children. So we went through a basic Tehillim Psalm overview right there, just putting into context. You know, we do see this psalm as reflecting that particular period of time, both Shlomo Solomon in his original building and the reconstruction during the time of Nehemiah, Ezra, and Nehemiah, during the time of Zerubbabel, right, and Yehoshua and Joshua. But here, verses 1 and 2, including the superscription, a song of degrees. Other translators translate a song of ascents. Here we have the word ma'ala, 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 what comes up. Right? BDB breaks it down kind of interesting here. BDB, Brown's Drivers Briggs definition says what comes up. Ma'ala. Because Allah mean like to rise, to ascend. Allah. We have the sense in Aliyah and so forth and so on. But Allah, what? Allah. Allah. What comes up? What rises up? Like to say, like thoughts. Also, a step steers, as you can see right here. Steps can be put in the context, the steps of a sundial, stories, the steers of the heaven, right? Ascent, right? Song of ascent. You can see right here under the E entry, song of ascent, also song of degrees, ascents, right? Here we have the 3 great pilgrim feasts, or the Shalosh, Hebraically referred to as the Shalosh Regalim. Shalosh 3 Regalim. Regal means foot, like foot. Regalim would be like 3 feet, because the Regalim sense of the pilgrimage, walking, making that trod, making that track, making that ascension up to Zion, Zion, and up to Jerusalem. The 3 great feasts, or the Shalosh Regalim. Now, the Shalosh Regalim covers the 7 months, right? The 7 months of the Hebrew, we could say the ecclesiastical, the churchical year, the holy part of the year in season, you know, beginning with Passover, Pesach, and fulfilling with Hag HaSukkot, with tabernacles. So we have 7 feasts, right? And Leviticus chapter 23 breaks those down, the 7 feasts. But they occur in 3 times. So it says 3 times in the year shall all the males of Yisrael present themselves in the place where Yahweh Eloheinu, where he sets his name, the Hashem. So these psalms are often related and regarded as relating to the songs that the pilgrims, some see these psalms that are themed, songs of degrees, songs of ascents, as songs that were chanted by the pilgrims, right, on their way to fulfill the covenant, you know, the duty and obligation, you know, of keeping those appointments, especially in the 3 times of the year, aka the Shalosh Regalim. So here we have Ma'ala, Ma'ala, elevation. That is the act, literally a journey to a higher place or to higher ground. figuratively, right? Remember the Hebrew two truths. So in the literal sense, right, here we have this word. Let's scroll up here, right? We have ma Allah, ma Allah, ma Allah, right? Breaking this down from its root, right? Ma ale, an ascent, like an ascent. Breaking it down further, right, to the H5927, Allah, Allah. This is not Allah. This is not Allah. This is Allah. In other words, there's these two words, right, that can be written A-L-A-H, but one has an Aleph, right, Allah, and the other has an Ain, Allah, Allah. And this means, this is the verb right here, Allah. Allah means to go up, to ascend, to climb, to go up, to ascend. Contextually speaking, the two truths, it can mean to meet, to visit, right? To follow, to depart, to withdraw, to retreat, to go up, to come up. As you can see, to spring up, to grow up. Vegetation also grows up, to go up, to go up, to go over. Natural phenomena, right? To come up, right? So in the Hebraic, in the Kiddush, the holy Avodah liturgy sense, right? When we have like the Aliyahs, like the first Aliyah, like the Aliyahs, then the Sabbath, sabbatical time, the Parsha, and the 7 Aliyot, and each reading to come up, to do an Aliyah. To do an Aliyah is like to come up before Lifnei Yahweh, before Jehovah, going up to read. In other words, to go up, to go up, to go over. Also in that sense, to be superior, right? And it's from this word, right? This word right here, Allah, Allah, right? Here to ascend. Here we go. Strong's break it down. To ascend, intransitively, to be high, right? So to ascend, right? One who ascends is high, right? Or in the active sense, to mount up. As it shows here, it can be used in a great variety of senses, a primary, secondary. It can be used literally, directly, going up, or in a figurative sense. So this is why breaking down this sense of ma'ala, right here, this is the word degrees, ma'ala, the BDB brings out a literal sense of ma in Hebrew means what? Ma, Allah. What has ascended? What you know, what's going on? It's almost like what's up. It's almost like a way of saying what's up, literally, right? Ma Allah, like what comes up, the thoughts that come up. But the context of this right here is the pilgrim feast, the pilgrim festivals, making those tracks, making those strides, you know. So the song of degrees, right? Shir ha ma'alot, shir ha ma'alot. Somebody pointed at shir ha ma'alot, shir ha ma'alot, shir ha ma'alot, ma'alot. Song of the goings up. So in the Hebrew, the sense is plural. It's not just one ma'ala, but it's ma'alot, ma'alot, ma'alot. It's the goings up, the ascensions, right? A song, a shir, right? So shir, right, is a song, singing. A song of degrees, a song of ascents, li shlomo, for Shelomo. Solomon's name in the Hebrew, right, is not Solomon, no, but it's Shalomo, Shalomo, Solomon, from the Shalom root, right? Shalomo, Shalom, right? There we have Shalomo, peaceful, right? Shalomo. So this is for Solomon of Solomon. Opening part right here, today's daily psalm superscription first. Shir ha ma'alot li shlomo. Shir ha ma'alot li shlomo. A song of ascents, of ascensions, of degrees, of goings up, for Solomon, li shlomo. The Yehudi commentators do not understand this as indicating, from the traditional Yehudi tribe, often this is not understood as indicating his authorship of the psalm, of the Mizmor, right? In the sense of Solomon, or li shlomo, for Solomon. they take it to mean concerning. So in the sense of how Li 4 of Li Shlomo can be brought out is understood here as concerning Shlomo, concerning Solomon as the builder, the original builder of Ha Haykal, of the Haykal of the temple palace, the temple, and the interpretation of Targum of the house, as we have in this first verse, of the house as the sanctuary, was probably responsible, some say, for the addition of the words in the title. So some see that Li Shalomo is like an addition and putting it into context with the content of the psalm, especially as we have here in this first verse right here, full of this first verse right here, Hebraically speaking right here, Shir Ha-Ma'alot, Li Shlomo. Im Yahuwah lo yibne bayita shaw amlu bonan bonayu bo. Im Yahuwah lo yishmar ir shaw shakad shomer. Okay, let's break this down right here. A few parts right here. The first part is accept, right? Except im in the Hebrew, the im, except except, or like if. Let's break this down. They don't have the direct words, so if we go down to Tanakh right here, im. You see the im. You see if, right? It's like a conditional clause. Im Yahweh, Yahovah, right? Yahweh is often put in a sense of a conditional clause, right? Right, of a possible use of possible situations, if, and also use of impossible situations. Also in the sense of oath, when oaths are being taken, if, whether, also in a whenever sense. So that there's a few particular contexts to this, but the direct sense is the except, right? Except Yahweh, right? Except he do this. Like if he do this, but except he do this. Im Yahweh, right? Except it's Yahweh, right? Lo yibne, right? Lo yibne bayit. Lo yibne bayit. What do we have here? Lo yibne. Yibne, right? From Bana, right? To build, right? Bana, yibne, right? Bayit, right? Except Yahweh build the house. Rather, it's not the house. If you look at the Hebrew, it's not the house. It's actually bayit. It's not like in the other song where it says ha bayit Chanukat. Remember the Chanukat, the 30th Psalm, Chanukat ha bayit, right? Unless he like if it's Yahweh, right, doesn't build a house. If it's Yahweh doesn't build a house, the sense of except Yahweh builds a house or builds a house, right? It's buy it, not ha buy it. So therefore it's a house. There is no definite article here in the Hebrew. It is better to give the word kind of a general connotation, unless he is the builder of any building, not just saying the temple, but of any structure, any building, right? They what? They labor. To the next part right here. They labor in vain, right? They labor in vain. Shav amlu bonayo. Bonayo bo. Shav. So here we have the sense of shav. Modern Hebrew, they'll say shav. Bring this out right here. Shav. Actually, shav, amlu, shav, in vain, emptiness, right? It's emptiness, right? Here's a sense of the shav right here, a sense of desolating, a sense of actually show like ravaging, devastation, emptiness, falseness, idolatry. But the last sense right there in the objective sense is deceptive, shav, right? It's in vain, right? Shav. When it says don't take the name, right? Don't take up his name in shav, right? In emptiness, in vanity, shav, amlu, shav, amlu, 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 amlu from amal. Amal in Hebrew means to labor, to toil. Amal, amal, right? To toil, to work severely, right? So it's not just working, but it's when you're toiling. Amal, amlu, shav, amlu. Like in vain, they are toiling. Bonayu, Bonayu Bo, Bonayu Bo, who are building in it. Literally, who are building Bonayu, they are building Bonav, right? Bo in it. Those who are doing this labor. So the Hebrew verb means to toil until one is weary. Right? This right here means to toil, the amal, right here means to toil until one is weary, until one is weary. Then it has a second part right here, right? The second part right here of the verse where it says, except, here we get the except again, right? The except again, right? The except again is right here again, where it says, if, right? Except Yahuwah, Yahuwah, lo yishmar if Yahuwah doesn't Shamar doesn't guard, Shamar doesn't guard, Yishmar, right? Yishmar, unless he guards, right? If if it's Yahweh that doesn't guard, right? The city, the ayar, right? Here's an interesting word. Notice the word for city. BDB brings out the two aspects. Ir can be excitement, anguish, right? But Ir can also be a city or town. But it comes from the sense of like a place of waking, right? A place of waking, or to rouse oneself, or to rouse oneself, a waking place, right? A place that's guarded by waking or a watch, like an encampment, a post. So it's one of the words Hebraically for city, ir, right? A city or like a waking, right? A waking. It's the Hebrew sense is interesting. It may take a moment to reason through or explain, but then you begin to say, wow, it's like just some simple basics are being pointed out. But here, im Yahuwah lo yishmar ir, except it's Yahweh that keeps or guard the city. Shava Shakad Shomer. Shakad Shomer. Shav is vain. It's emptiness, right? It's emptiness. It's uselessness. It's uselessness. It's deceptive. Shakad. There's the Shakad there, right? That wake, that watch, that be awake, right? Shakad, the primitive sense to be alert, sleepless, right? The idea of shakad is to be on the lookout, right? So the watchman or the one who's on the lookout is doing it for nothing, right? Basically what it's saying right here. The watchman is watching for nothing. Shav shakad shomer. Shomer is the watchman, right? This is this word right here, shomer, right? The shomer is the one who shamar. Shamar, he guarded, he hedged about, he protected, he guarded. Shomer is the guarder, right? So shamar is the verb to guard, and shomer is the one who does it. Shav shakad shomer. It's vain, the one who's on it's vain for the guardian to be on the lookout, right? For the guardian to look out for anything. So the city, right? The city actually is a city. So another key thing here in this first verse is that it's not the house, but it's any house, any building, any structure. Not just the city, speaking of the holy city, but any city, right? Of any city, right? So it's not just applied just to the holy city, but it is being applied in the context of the holy city. But unless he builds any structure, right? Unless he's in it, right? Unless he's the one protecting it, it's just vain, right? Waketh, keepeth watch, right? Keepeth on the lookout, keepeth watch in vain. Once again, this right here. Shir ha-ma'alot lishlomo. Im Yahuwah lo yibneh bayit. Shau amlua bonayo bo. Im Yahweh lo yishmar ir shav shakad shomer. Here. First verse here, bringing us to the bait verse here. Here's the bait verse, second verse, KJV first. It is vain or vain, the italicized words not there, vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows. So he giveth his beloved sleep. Shav lachem mashakimei kuma me achreya shavet oklei lechem ha atzavim kain yitena liadido sheina. So vain, not it is vain, but vain, shav, 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 shav is worthless. Worthless is worthless conduct. Like what you're doing, why you wasting your time? It's worthless in a sense for you to rise up early. Shav, lachem, lachem, shav, lachem, shav, lachem, lachem for you all is vain, it's worthless for you all. Mashkimei kum. Mashkimei kum. It's vain for you all to rise up to kum. Mashkimei, to shakam. Mashkimei. Mashkimei from shakam. Here. Let's bring this out right here. So the order of the words in Hebrew are actually this way. Shao, worthless, lakem for you all, mashkimei, right? Mashkimei, right? Up early, shakam, mashkimei, shakam, mashkimei, kum. So it's vain for you early up to get up, right? Early up to rise up, to start early, right? To start early, right? And to kum, to rise up, right? To rise up early, to sit up late, right? To sit up late. Me achrei shevet, to sit up, shevet, right? To yashab, right? Late, achar, me achrei shevet, right? To sit up late, to eat, right? The akal, oklei, the eaters, oklei lechem, right? Literally here in the Hebrew has a sense of eating bread, right? Ha'etzavim, to eat the bread of atzavim, right? Ha'etzavim, the lechem, ha'etzavim, to eat the bread of etzeb, atzavim, ha'etzavim, the etzeb is pain, is toil, etzeb, right? Pain, toil, right? What's interesting about this word pain and toil, it's also like an idol. It's a kind of an interesting kind of a concept right here, but eat the bread of like idolatry, eat the bread of toil, of pangs. Etzeb, it can be like pains in the body or the mind. Also in ancient time, the word was connected with labor, etzeb. And when you see where it says an earthen vessel, because we also have the atzabim, also like the figurines, like the kind of the idols that many ancient cultures used to have of like, fertility goddesses, fertility idols and things like that were connected with the etzeb. So they practice a kind of a sympathetic magic, so since a mother and a woman's going through this labor, these pangs, therefore these idols can kind of offset that. That's why you see in the definition, it has earthen vessel, right? An earthen vessel, etzeb, right? Here we have the lechem, the bread, ha'etzabim, the lechem ha'etzabim, which is brought out as the bread of toil, right? But it could also be the bread of pangs, like laboring. It's almost like laboring, like going through labor, and then after the labor, there's nothing there. This is the kind of the Hebrew, the Hebraic sense of this right here, here, here. So here, here, here. So, right, coming to the fulfillment here. Okale lachem ha-itzavim, ha-itzavim, right? Eating the bread of sorrows, of pain in the body, in the mind. Cain, for so, Cain, yitain, he gives. Cain, yitain, li dido, li yedido, yedido, his beloved lidido, for his beloved Shana, for his beloved Shana. Shana is sleep. Shana, right? Shana, right here, here, here. From Yashin, from the Hebrew Yashin. The verb is Yashin, right? The verb Yashin, to be slack, to be languid. The implication is like to sleep, right? It has a couple of interesting senses, right? But the Shana is the noun, right? Shana. For so he giveth his beloved sleep. Cain, yitain, Cain. Cain, let me bring this out for ones and ones. Cain. So here's the word Cain, right? Some say Ken, but it's pointed as Cain. Cain means like so, therefore, thus, so, yes. It can have a yes sense of like, yes, Cain, thus, so, right? Therefore, right? Like rightly, you see what it says, rightly so, for so, right? Cain, for so, yitain, for so he gives, for rightly he gives, yes, he gives. Cain, yitain, lidido, shena. So what do we have right here, here? All right, it is vain for you to rise up, right? Rising up early and sitting up late. Rising up early. Mashkime me chare shevet. Mashkime me achere shevet. Rising early. Mashkime getting up, rising up. Mashkime, early rising. Mashkime me achere, late shevet, sitting, late sitting. Rising early, late sitting. After referring to the fact that Yahweh Elohim's his help is essential in civic affairs. In the first verse, we get civic affairs, building buildings, construction, right? Guarding the city, making sure everything is safe in that town, that city, that province. Those are more civil affairs. So after referring to the fact that Yahweh's help is a monacity in civic affairs, the psalmist and I holds that the same truth, it applies to the fears of the individual, right? Of the individual citizen. Even the most industrious, who begins their day's toil early in the morning, mashkime kum, right? Early in the morning, and continue it into the late evening, me'achere shevet, into late evening. Labor is vain. Shav is vain without Yahweh's, his guidance, his protection, his aid, his baraka, his blessing. Here, the bread of toil, as we touched on, the bread of toil. Right? Let's just highlight that word right there. Here's the bread of toil. It's an interesting construction, understanding the context of the Hebrew words. Lechem, ha-itzabim, ha-atzabim, lachem ha-atzabim, right? The bread of atzabim, the bread of toil, right? Food gained by hard work, by hard sweat. Cain, so, right? So you see in the KJV, they have four, but the four is italicized. The four is not there, just the Cain. Cain, Cain, so, rightly so, yes, so, Yitain, so, yes, he gives. Cain, Yitain, Ledido, for his Yedid, for his beloved Yedido. Cain, Yitain, Ledido, Shena, for he gives to and for his beloved Shena. For so he giveth. Cain, Yitain. Possibly the Cain here does not signify, some say so, though it can be used in translation that like that, yea, yea, so, in that sense. But what it really more signifies Hebraically is what is right, Cain, Cain, what is right, what is suitable, Cain, what is right, what is suitable, he gives. Cain, Yatain, what is right, what is suitable, he gives. The translation is what is due, the sense of Cain, Yatain, so he giveth, what is due, he giveth. The teaching is that Yahweh Eloheinu provides, Yahweh Yireh, Jehovah Jireh, Yahweh Yireh, Yireh, Yah Yireh, Yahweh Yireh. He provides. Jehovah provides for those who gain Ritzono, his favor, even when they are not engaged in their work, as during the time of Shena, of sleep, not that they may be idle, but they're free, being free. So it's not just being idle, not doing nothing, but it's being free from the anxiety. Remember how we brought out right here in the word sorrows here from etzeb, right? Etzeb, usually defined as pain, hurt, toil, sorrow, labor, right? Both labor and working labor, but also labor, one of the archaic terms used for labor. It's actually used there in the Gan Ba'aden, right? The Etzeb. It's an interesting context there, right? Toil, labor, right? You see where it says vessel, creation, object. Then you see where it says idol, right? So how does it get from that to this? Right, the context here where it says an earthen vessel, right? So it's like the bread of idolatry, right? This bread of toil, right? It's not just the work toil, but it's the possible idolatry, you know, of the toil, right? The idolatry of the toil. How can we bring this out right here? The anxieties, the pang, right? The pang, you know, of body, of mind, the stress and distress, right? They are freed from that anxiety. They will not lack the necessities of life, right? So while being freed from that anxiety, there still is no lack of the necessities. And they say that rest is a necessity. So right there, this verse right here, once again, Shao lachem, mashkimei kum, me'achrei shaveta okalei lachem ha'etzavim, Cain, Yitain, Ledido, Shena. So here, first two verses right here, this section, man's work futile without Yahweh, without Jehovah. So here, this brings us here to the next section, right? The last section, the part 2 of today's daily psalm, Mizmor Kof, Kaf, Zain, Psalm 127, Mizmor Kof, Kaf, Zain. Here at the Gimel, verse, lo, the third verse. This section is the Baraka, speaks on the blessing of children, right? And this is one of the reasons why in some of the commentaries, some view this psalm as two independent fragments, verses 1 and 2 as one particular fragment, speaking of man's work futile without Yahweh, speaking about like the civil affairs of life and also of one's individual, you know, working and responsibility, you know, the work and the rest, you know, 6 days use of work and that Shabbat, you know, that work and that rest, that balance, one fragment there. And then the second part of the psalm here is concerning the Baraka, the blessing of children, right? The blessing of children. This is why some point out the conditions in the time of Nehemiah, the period of time of reconstruction when houses were being rebuilt after the return from the exile, from the captivity, after that repatriation in the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, and the building during the time of Zerubbabel and Yehoshua, right? Houses were being built, measures were taken for guarding the cities, much enough labor was being expended in various directions. However, the human planning and effort, it needed to be supplemented by the baraka, that blessing, that empowerment to prosper of Yahuwah for the work to really endure and to stand and be sustainable. And in addition to all those tasks, the civil tasks, building, guarding, keeping things peace and safe and working and resting. In addition to all of that, right? Remember, this was the context was after the return. So after the Babylonian captivity, that a few had returned, but many stayed in Babylon. Only a few chose to repatriate, so to speak, right? During the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. But in addition to the building and the rebuilding tasks, the country, right, had to have a much larger population, right? If the future, what they were building was to be assured. And in this respect, the second part here of today's daily psalm, in this respect, Yahweh's, Jehovah's favor, right, was indispensable. Since, and for the reason being brought out right here, that the offspring, right, that the children is a gift from him. So here, this section, the baraka of children. Lo, look, children, and heritage of Yahweh. The fruit of the womb is his reward, or the fruit of the womb, reward. More directly in the Hebrew sense, the fruit of the womb, reward. Hine nachalata Yahweh, banim, sakara pri ha baten. Hine, look and see, here it is. Hine, nachalat, the nachalat. What's a nachalat? From nahala. Nahala is possession, property, often translated as inheritance or heritage, right? In the Hebraic sense, that which is inherited, right? It can also have the abstract sense of occupancy. In a concrete or direct sense, it's like an heirloom, right? Generally, it's an estate, like a patrimony, right? Or a portion, heritage. So here it says, Hine, look and see, or lo in the translation, Hine, nachalat, the inheritance or the heritage, right, of Yahuwah, the heritage of nachalat, constructive. That means Nachala, singular sense, Nachala, heritage, to say heritage of, Nachalat, Yahweh, of Jehovah, right? Banim is sons, Bain. So here we have Banim come from Ben. Banim is plural, right? Sons. Ben is singular, Banim. So here it's saying children in a general sense, but directly it's saying son. Why is it saying Bani of sons, of these Ben, the Ben, all the Bens, right? Because a son is thought to be the builder of the family name. The son is the builder. How is the son the builder of the family name? Well, Hebraically, the word Ben, right? Remember the early part of the psalm? In the early part of the psalm, we was talking about building, right? It said, except Yahuwah build the house. Remember that verse? It's in the Hebrew, Im Yahuwah lo yibneh. Yibneh come from Bana. Bana mean to build. So Bana and Ben and Bani is Hebraically, etymologically related. That the Ben, right, was the Bana of the family name, right? The Ben was the Bana. And also in the next part of the verse where it speaks about they that labor, right? They labor in vain. Shav, Amlu, Bonayo, the Bonayo, the Bonim, The Bonim are like the builders in that sense. So the son, the Ben, related Hebraically to the Bana, the verb Bana, to build. The Ben is the Bana Ben. The son is the builder, right, of the Beit Ab, the Beit Ab, the Beit, the house of Ab, the house of his father, in the widest sense of literal and figurative relationship. So in a wider sense, right, the Banim are like the grandson, the sons, right? Ben can also, in a context, be like a subject, and it can have other constructive context there. But right here to the first part of the verse, the children are a gift bestowed by the grace, based on this verse here, the grace of Yahweh, that they are his heritage. Let's bring out the Hebrew right here. Hine, here's the Hebrew right here. Hine nachalat Yahweh. Behold the heritage of Yahweh, right? Banim. There's that word right there, Banim. Our sons, right? Our sons. Sakar peri ha baten. Sakar peri. Let's get to the second part of the verse right there. So the two parts of the verse. Sakar peri ha baten. Sakar, right? Peri. Sakar is the reward. Sakar. But sakar is like wages, higher, in a sense. It's like kind of like a payment sense, a payment of contract, right? Coming from sakar to hire, the hire, sakar, to earn wages, sakar, right? Through the idea of, notice what it says, through the idea of temporary purchase, right? Temporary purchase, the sense of purchase right there. So that's the context of that word reward, right? The fruit of the womb is a reward. The fruit of the womb is a kind of a payment of purchase, right? A payment of sakar peri. So the order of the Hebrew words is different. Sakar, reward, right? Peri, right? Peri, right here, peri, fruit. Bamaringa, we say foray, right? From the gutters, foray, peri, fruit or the produce, right? The produce, peri ha baten, right? The produce of the baten. What is the baten? The fruit, the produce of the baten. The baten, right? From beten, baten is the womb or the belly. Literally, it's more like the belly, right? Baten, right? Beten, right? From an old Hebraic Afro-Shemitic, like to hollow, right? The hollow place, right? The belly, referring to the womb, right? Also the bosom or the body, right? In a sense. So here to this verse right here, that children are a gift bestowed by the grace of Elohim is characteristic teaching of the Hebrew Bible. So from a Hebrew perspective, this is a characteristic teaching that's being brought out in this verse. Hence, there's a statement in Bereshit, in Genesis chapter 20, verse 17. And it says, and Elohim healed Abimelech and his wife Ishto and his maid servants, and they bore children. For Jehovah had fast closed up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech. So in Bereshit, in Genesis chapter 20, verse 17, it says, and Elohim, right? Elohim healed, and the true God healed Abimelech and his wife Ishto and his maidservants, and they bore children, Banim. For Yahweh had fast closed, or firmly had closed up all the wombs of the house, the Beit Abimelech, the house of Abimelech. And the retort, what was the retort of Yaakov? Remember the retort? When Rachel, his beloved wife, Rachel, right? You know, she was going back and forth with him. She's like, give me children, or I die. That's what she said to Avinu Yaakov, to Father Jacob. And Jacob's retort, his response was, am I in Elohim's stead? Am I instead of Elohim? Right? Who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? Right? Or the Pri Ha Baten, the Pri fruit, the produce Ha Baten of the womb. Right? He said this to Rachel. Rachel, she had a complaint against the patriarch Yaakov in Genesis chapter 30, verse 1. She said to him, give me children or else I die. And his response was, am I in Elohim's stead? Am I instead of Elohim? Who hath withheld from thee the Pri Habaten? Now, the Rebbanim, the rabbis and scholars of Torah, they had declared that a child had three parents. You might have heard this before. I've heard something similar to this, that a child has three parents. And of those three parents, it's Elohim, Yahweh Eloheinu, in addition to Father, right, to Ab and to Aim, right, to Father and to Mother. As we mentioned right here, when it says children here, it's the Banim sense, right? Banim, Bane, 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 it's the Banim. The Hebrew term, right, it denotes sons, right? Directly, Banim denotes sons. Yet it can also be translated as children in a general sense, but specifically as sons. See, this is in view of the comparison with arrows coming forward. There's a comparison with arrows or missiles. Today we'll call them missiles, but an arrow basically is a missile, right? Arrows in the next verse. The intention is doubtless sons who alone could defend and who alone would look to and be looked forward to as their duty to defend their father, right? So in the ancient context, right, it was doubtless sons were looked to alone exclusively. It was their duty, right, to defend their to defend their father and to defend their patriarchs. But the parallelism, fruit of the womb, Pri Ha Baten, it indicates that daughters are not excluded, even by the phraseology of Pri Ha Baten. Because how you going to have Pri Ha Baten, right? How you going to have the Banim, right? Without having the Banot, Banot, daughters, Banim, sons. So Banot, the daughters are not, Benot, the daughters are not excluded, since the phrase in the widest and the overall sense must mean offspring. But Hebraically, contextually, they understood that to whom more is given, more is required, right? And therefore, that more emphasis on, one might say, the sons, right? Historically, contextually. Reward. We touched on the word reward, the sakar, right? Sakar, higher wages, reward like a pay, right? Fee, passage, money, right? Payment of contract. Strong's bringing out better right there. The sakar sense is higher, is wages, but it's like the payment of contract, right? The payment of contract. We have in Psalm 128, the very next Psalm, the fourth verse, Psalm 128 at the fourth verse, right? 128. That 128. Am I reading this? Yeah, 128, verse 4, where it says, verse 4. Verse 4 says, behold, surely thus shall the man be blessed that reverence, respects Yahweh, right? Because, the first four verses, where the verse before verse 3, it says, thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine in the innermost parts of thy house, thy children like olive plants round about thy table. So just making that connection of that reward there. Here to the Dalet, the fourth verse as arrows. So the context of the Bani bringing out this literal sense, the direct sense of sons as arrows in the hand of a mighty man, so children of the youth. So here the Dalet verse right here. Chitzim. 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 The chitzim are arrows coming from the Hebrew chetz. Chetz, an arrow. Chitzim, arrows. Chetz, an individual arrow. Chitzim, arrows. Chitzim, biyad, in the yad. The yad, the hand, in the yad. Biyad, Gibor, in the hand of a Gibor. So here we have the Gibor. The Gibor is the mighty man. Gibor is like an adjective. So, there's different words for man, but when speaking of a Gibor, it's like a strong man, a mighty man. Like when Yeshua said, how can you break into like a strong man's house? A Gibor. Gibor, a brave man, a mighty man is a Gibor, a powerful man. Right? It can be like a warrior, and it also can be a tyrant in a sense, right? So that man is like a strong man, like physically strong, maybe a warrior, on that particular level, a mighty man. So it has a good sense, right? But it can also you can see in the definitions, it has like giant, because some people say, oh, they were Giborim, right? And the Giborim are the giants. No, Giborim are just the mighty. Right? They could be mighty giants or they could be mighty men, just powerful men. Right? The mighty man is a Gibor. Right? Gibor. Something like Geberah. Like Geberah in Amharic is the Geberah. Right? Because it has a sense of doing work. Let's just break this down right here. Geberah, right? From Gabar. Gabar is to prevail, right? To be strong. Gabar, to show oneself mighty, prevail. But it also has a sense of being able to do work. Right, do work. So arrows, as arrows in the hand of the mighty man, Chitzim biyad Gibor, Cain. That Cain again, Cain. So Cain, so Cain b'nei ha neorim. Cain, so yes, rightly so, b'nei, the sons of ha neorim, sons of the youth, sons of the Naor. Naor. Naor is like the youths, like to be like a young one, like a juvenile, a young one. All right. So there also seems to be an emphasis from the ancient times on having youths, when ones were by comparison young or in their youth, having youths in that sense in their youth, to put it into the literal context of the ancient and the biblical context here, the Naor, Neora, right? Neora, right here, the youths, right? So here it says Ha Neorim. This verse right here, Ha Neorim. Here we go, right here, Ha Neorim. All right, so right here, this verse, the arrows. Let's touch on arrows first. Chitzim, right? Chitzim. That's the highlighted word. Chitzim. Like chitzim. The chitzim. Like arrows as protection against attackers. The Gibor. Biyad Gibor. In the hand of the Gibor. In the hand of the mighty man. Right? The Gibor, the warrior. Children of one's youth. So this part is broken down in some translations as children of one's youth. KJV says, so are children of the youth. The context, children of one's youth. B'nai ha-ne'orim, ne'orim, of the youth, right? Of the youth, sons of the youth. Born while the father was still young. The context here is these youths who are born while the father was still young. So that when grown to manhood, they were able to safeguard his interests. So, when people say timing is everything, right? So even the ancient Hebrew and in ancient societies, they understood these things also to, with timing. So having the children while one is young, right? When they were grown to manhood, right? They were able, and the father was not too old, you know what I mean? And they were, so everything just matched up, and they were able to safeguard the father's interests, which basically, as part of their inheritance, would be their interests, right? In his older age, right here, and the final verse right here, Chabarim, the hay verse. Here we have the hay verse. Today's daily psalm, Psalm 127, Mizmor Kof Kaf Zain. Here, the fifth verse. Happy the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. Right? Have his quiver, fill his quiver with them, have his quiver, right? Speak to the enemy, subdue or destroy, right? Speak, subdue, or destroy. That's a very interesting. When we look at the Hebrew dabar, the word dabar means to speak, but in certain contexts, the word to speak can mean to subdue. Dabar, the word to speak in some contexts can mean to destroy, Hebraically, dabar. But we'll touch on that right there. Here, finally, not finally, but when we go through some of the translations, they have this properly translated. The first psalm should also read, happy is the man, right? The first psalm properly should read, happy is the man. Happy is the man. Instead, they say, blessed is the man. Because, see, the word here, happy, is Esher or Asher, Ashrei, right? In the Hebrew, Ashrei, Ashrei, right? Esher, 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 Ashrei, Ashrei. Here it says, Ashrei HaGeber, Ashrei HaGeber, right? Happy is the man. Notice the word man here is Geber. Geber is related to the Gibor that we had in the previous verse. The word Geber, right? Geber, modern Hebrew, Gever, Gever, Gever in the modern Hebrew, Afro-Shemitically, Geber. The Geber is related to the Gibor. You see, BDB brings out man. It is a man, yeah. Geber is a man, right? Like the Gibor. What kind of man? A strong man, right? A warrior. The emphasizing of strength or the ability to fight. Strength in the hands of like farmers, Gebre, Ethiopically speaking, to do farm work, one has to use X amount of, or one's did, especially in ancient times, use X amount of strength, as well as having the ability to fight, one must also use strength, right? So right here we have the valiant man or the warrior man, right? The Geber. In modern Hebrew and some areas of Hebrew, it can be used as a person generally. Geber, right? The Geber from Gabar, to prevail, to be strong, right? It's like to work to be strong, right? The work to be strong in that sense. So here it says Ashrei, Ashrei HaGeber Asher Mileya Eta Ashapato Mayhem. Lo Yeboshu Wakia Yidabru Eta Oivim Bashar. The Oivim, the enemies, the haters, the Oivim, Et Oivim Bashar. Et Oivim Bashar. Ashrei. Here, Ashrei, happy. Ashrei, as we have it here, is also what is the Hebrew of Psalm 1. When it says, blessed is the man, the context is really happy. Happy is the man. Ashrei is in the sense of the Beatitudes. Robenu Yeshua, when he says, blessed is the man that blesses the beatitude. It's the Ashrei sense. So it is a baraka as a blessing, but the word barak does not appear as the underlying word. It's Ashrei. So just to note that there, in some cases in KJV where it has bless, as in Psalm 1, it's not the Baruch bless, it's actually the Ashrei, Ashrei, as we have right here from the Esher, Esher, Asher, right? Getting to Asher, Ashar, Ashar, Asher, Esher, right? Asher, right? Ashrei, right? To advance, to be led on, the twofold sense of it, to be made happy, right? In the sense of being blessed. But as it's not the word Baruch. Baruch is a different kind of blessed. You can see right here where it's to be straight, right? In the widest sense, to be level. Maybe this is what they mean when they say nowadays to level up, right? Level up, right? So you can come to real happiness. Ashrei, Ashrei Hagever, right? Happy, right, level, right? Figuratively, to go forward, forward ever. You see, in the figurative sense, brings out the fuller sense of it, of the beatitude, right? To go forward, the happiness, level up, right? To be honest, to prosper, right? Right. So this is the sense of the Ashrei, right? The Hebrew happiness, the Hebrew beatitude. Ashrei, Ashrei Hageber, Ashrei Hagever, Asher Milei, Asher Milei, Asher Milei, right? Asher, one who is Milei, right? Asher Milei, right? Full from Mala, Mala to be full, right? Asher Milei et Ash Peto Mayhem is full of them, that has his quiver, right? His ashpa, right? Where it says ashpato, right? Milei, full, et ashpato, full, his quiver, mayhem, from them. Full his quiver from them. To say, to have a quiver full of them. What is the quiver right there? The ashpa. Ashpa. It's like a quiver for arrows. But notice the A says of a home, of God's instruments. Right? So for that man, that Geber, he would have his youths, his children, his sons, also as those instruments, even in the figurative sense, as a sense of covering. You see right there, right? The quiver, like an arrow case, right? The arrow case, ashap, right? Now this is another sense right here. This is interesting, right here. But here, ashpato, his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed. Lo ye boshu. They shall not be bush, bash, right? Put to shame, bush, bash, disconcerted, bush, bash. Here they say properly to pale. Well, it doesn't really mean to turn white in that sense, but I guess in a certain sense, pale can be applicable. The implication is to be ashamed, right? Lo yeboshu, lo yevoshu. They shall not be ashamed. Ki when yedabru, ki yedabru, right? When they speak. KJV says, but they shall speak. The Hebrew sense is lo yeboshu, right? They shall not be ashamed. Ki when yedabru, when they speak, when they dabar, when they dabar. Dabar means to speak, to converse. Dabar, right? So it's both. Dabar is both the verb to speak, and also dabar is the noun for word. So when it says in the beginning was the word ha dabar, right? Ha dabar. So dabar, noun, dabar here as a verb, yidabru. They speak. Ki yidabru. They speak. Right? Notice what it says warn, threaten, sing. Right? They speak. Right? Now notice right here in Strong's definition, this is the primitive root, dabar, dabar. It means to arrange. Now, what's of interest here, as we're in the fourth book of Moshe, Midbar. The Midbar. Listen to the sound. Midbar. Midbar. Midbar comes from what? It comes from dabar. But dabar isn't dabar to speak, right, as a verb, and dabar means word as a noun. Now getting to the root of even the mead bar and the dabar, and another interesting level of connection. You'll notice in the fourth book, in the wilderness book, you'll see it's based on how they speak, right? How the Israelites start speaking. Check out one-to-one speaking, especially in the book of Numbers throughout the wilderness journey, but especially in the book of Numbers, because the book of Numbers Hebraically is called the Sefer Midbar, right? The book in the wilderness, Midbar. But anyone who understands biblical Hebrew at a level, you know that Midbar comes from Dabar. So it's wilderness, yeah, but it also comes from the word that means to arrange, like how you arrange your words. Figuratively speaking, the arrangement of words, right? Directly speaking, dabar is to speak. But you see where it says in Strong's, it says rarely, though it's used in the Hebrew scriptures, dabar can be used in a destructive sense. The devir, the devir, it was the plagues, come from Debar. The devir was the plagues on Egypt. The plagues on Egypt come from the same root word that means to speak and the arrangement of words. So, in a destructive sense, it can mean to subdue, right? So, the word sound, look at that word sound power to speak, right? To create, in a sense, as well as to destroy, to encourage, as well as to subdue. So it's interesting right here when it says, but they, or more correctly, ki yadaber, when they speak. Ki yadaber, when they speak with their enemies in the gates. Ki yadaber et oivim basha'ar. Basha'ar. Right? That's this part right here for ones who want to see the Hebrew. Right here, this part. Ki yidabru et oivim basha'ar. When they speak, ki yidabru et oivim, with or to their two enemies, not it doesn't say their enemies, but two enemies. When they speak to haters, to enemies, to oibim, et oibim, ba sha'ar, ba in the sha'ar, ha-sha'ar, in ha-sha'ar, ba sha'ar, in the sha'ar, in the gate, the sha'ar, the gate, like the gateways, like the opening entrances, like the cities, right? The gateways, right? The enemies, the oibim, the haters, when they speak, when they subdue. This is why here brings out subdue or destroy. So here, just to go over this here, the quiver, ashpato, continuing the simile of children as arrows. So from the previous verse, the Dalet verse of Mizmor Kof Kaf Zain, Psalm 127, from the fourth verse, the chitzim, this simile, right, is continued here of the banim, of the sons, the children, as arrows in the ashpato, in the ashpa, in the quiver, in his quiver. They shall not what? They shall not be ashamed. Lo ye bo shu. Right? The fathers, some interpret this as that the fathers will not be ashamed. Right? The fathers who have many grown-up sons, bani, will not blush, will not be pale, will not be ashamed. The plural may also indicate the father surrounded by banav, by his sons. Speak with their enemies, ki yidabru et oibim, speak with the enemies, right? Speak with enemies, right? Defend the cause in a matter under dispute. And these causes often were disputed in the sha'ar, ha-sha'ar, like in the city gate. you know, in the city gate. We have it elsewhere in Psalms, the city gate. Defend their cause in a matter under dispute. When justice was not impartially administered, the presence of these sons, these stalwart sons, by the side of their Ab, their father, to uphold his interests, this as well would impress the Shoftim, the judges, and those who would judge and adjudicate in the gate, Ba Sha'ar, in the gate. Now, you can see more on this in Psalm 69, round about verse 13, verse 12, verse 13, Psalm 69, verse 12, verse 13. Lawsuits were heard there. Where? In the gates, Ba Sha'ar. How do we know this? Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 19. Now, they say less probable is the interpretation that actual warfare is intended. Warfare could come about, but it's less probable that actual warfare is intended here, although the word gates, just take note right here, Sha'ar, this word here, Sha'ar, gates, is employed in such connections, in such a connection as in Genesis chapter 22, verse 17, we see where the gates, also the gates, and warfare concerning the gates. So here, today's daily psalm, Chavarim, right here. They shall confront their enemies. What it says right here, he will not be ashamed as they confront their enemies, the enemies at the city gates. Happy is the man. Here, today's daily psalm.
מזמור קכ"ז, שיר המעלות לשלמה. אם אדוני לא יבנה בית, שב עמלו בוניו בו. אם אדוני לא ישמור עיר, שב שקד שומר. שב לכם משכימי קום מאחרי שבט, אוכלי לחם העצבים, כן ייתן לידידו שינה. הנה נחלת אדוני בנים, שכר פרי הבטן, וחיצים ביד גיבור, כן בני הנעורים. אשרי הגבר אשר מילא את אשפתו מהם, לא יבושו, כי ידברו את אויבים בשער.
Psalm 127.
מזמור קכ"ז, שיר המעלות לשלמה.
Except the Lord build the house.
אם אדוני לא יבנה בית,
They labor in vain that build it.
שב עמלו בוניו בו.
Except the Lord keep the city.
אם אדוני לא ישמור עיר.
The watchman waketh, but in vain.
שב שקד שומר.
The watchman waketh, but in vain. Psalm 127. Except the Lord build the house. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman, Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain, It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, they shall speak with the enemies, in the gate, 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 in the gate.
Yes. Give thanks, brothers and sisters and brothers. Right here. Been doing more of the streams here on the StreamYard. I don't know how the blog talk gonna work out over the next couple of days. We're gonna keep pushing forward. Be blessed, be highly favored by Shem Yeshua. Have a blessed rest, blessed night, blessed rise. Yahuwah prosper the eye, keep the eye in spirit and in truth and his grace and his love. Yes, I, Rastafari. Shalom, Habarim. Shalom. Hallelujah to Allah.